hey, we're going to look at Xforce number one, but not Xforce number one, but rather Xforce number one from when the hell was this? 2004. Not surprising. Like this is after the Heroes Reborn thing, and I mean, Liefeld maintained some kind of relationship with some people, and they brought him back. I mean, of course, X-Force, second highest selling comic book, American comic book of all time. Why not? Like, it couldn't possibly be anything but awesome to have him come back and do a second volume, right? Yeah, no, not at all. But it's worth trying, right? Maybe not. No, not at all. But it's worth looking at. As far as a cover, what that fucking gun. And like, he literally doesn't even think about it. He just draws this shape and then has it, the barrel of the gun start right at his fist, and it just kind of goes back, and there's no handle. It's just a cylindrical shape floating above his arm. Sure, I think that's supposed to be Boomer. I think they renamed her to Meltdown. I always thought Boom Boom was a stupid name, but I've actually come around to actually really appreciate it, especially considering the stupid names they've tried to give her otherwise. You got Domino, of course. You got Shatterstar that looks not a fraction as interesting as he used to be. I'm all about his old school original design, the white kind of pirate buccaneer outfit with the big white billowy shirt and the little short half cape. I'm all about that design forever. This is just colorful nothing. And Cannonball is back there being kind of a nothing himself. This is, I have to say, this is another era for Liefeld where he was trying to be different and he was trying different things. I was just talking about just recently, I did a video where from some of this reject stuff that I was talking about, where his art, like most artists, has gone through several different kind of eras. There's the way that Liefeld looked when he first started, and then his New Mutant stuff, and then, in my opinion, his peak, which was New Mutants 100 and the first couple issues of X-Force. It just looked kind of its best. And then as X-Force went on, he was having fill-in artists. He's having like Murat Michaels and Brian Murray and other guys show up and kind of ghost penciling pages before he went off to go do Youngblood, and then blah, blah, blah. You know, his art kind of changed, and I don't know. There's something going on here in this art, in this thing, where he's just penciling it. And I was talking about when I was looking at this book, The Rejects, and I was going through the penciled pages where he was just taking his penciled artwork and going straight to color. And it kind of works for some people, not very many in my opinion, but I'm also, as of this recording, looking at his artwork in this and comparing it with his current work right now on his Youngblood. And I'm like, he so doesn't give a shit now. He's so beyond caring. And it's aggravating because they're selling like hotcakes for some reason. But artistically, it's just kind of a joke. And I look at some of this stuff and I'm like, man, he was really trying something here. I feel like he was getting in and with his pencil work, trying to do some heavier, almost like Silvestri type, John Buscema-ish type of organic rendering. I don't know how else to put it. If you're familiar with Liefeld's work, especially his Youngblood stuff today, like this current stuff in 2025, 26, you'll have to, I can't help but imagine you'd have to notice the difference. Like, it's clearly him trying to do something different. This is kind of an example. It's almost like he maybe referenced a horse, sort of. Like, the way its front legs are kind of folded up is kind of weird. It kind of doesn't work, but it kind of looks like he referenced something, maybe. So to his credit. And then the guy, I mean, it says his name's The Traveler, but I couldn't discern whether trying to pretend like this is Cable or not. And I ain't fucking reading this. I'm like, no, fuck this. I am not reading this dumb shit. But here he is, Again, there's certain Liefeld things that are just a joke to me anymore, and I can't help but just notice them. Staring straight at us, zoom in close up on the face. But I don't know, the coloring is carrying the pencil work and meshing with it in a way that I'm like, this kind of there's like I don't know how else to put this. Like, look at this face. There's some rounder, more organic rendering lines going on here than the stuff he was doing before, where it was very sharp, rigid, pointy, sharp lines from the inkers and the way that he put the pencil lines down. There's something almost like soft and organic about it that's kind of like trying to emulate a Silvestri style from like his older work, from Silvestri's older work. I don't know. I hope that it makes sense what I'm saying. I see it everywhere. I'm kind of shocked. Like, this actually looks kind of good. I don't know how else to put it. Let me bring it up close. I bet the right inker to get in there and try and like emulate those pencil lines that he's put down and be given the kind of being allowed to interpret the pencil lines the way a really, really good inker would want to, and give them a nice organic ink style rather than a sharp kind of plasticky, super rigid, sharp line look. Like, this requires a different approach. And I bet the right inker on this could really make that look interesting. But again, to Liefeld's credit, there's something about it that kind of works. It is got all the same kind of bullshit, like he's got short cropped hair and then the fucking ponytail. He puts it on men and women. The little stupid pigtail things coming down, scratch over one eye, metal arm. Is this like medieval Cable? That horse looks kind of ridiculous, but I kind of like it. Kind of like that version there too. I'm like, it's kind of weird, but it kind of works. And then, holy fucking Christ, look at, he actually did some backgrounds. And again, I can't help but be like, I know Liefeld's work enough to like, he can't draw backgrounds like this. So either someone else did it for him, or he's looking at something else. And if he's looking at something else, I don't care. At least he bothered to put in some kind of backgrounds to give you some semblance of a setting. You know, brick and old school stone. Like, it kind of works, and it kind of works for 2 panels. Oh my God. About keeled over and died looking at that. Like, I'm amazed. But he meets up with some hot girl. Her name is Donarda, and they have to go down these steps to go find the mysterious monster creature problem that they're going to face here. So now we get cranked around, and they're coming down the stairs, and as is typical Liefeld, when somebody's coming down some stairs, not one fucking foot is properly seated on top of a step as if they're got their weight on it. They're just floating above them. This one down here, her foot is the closest to actually being on a step. Otherwise, they're just all floating above them. But that's kind of complicated to do. They come downstairs, the clerics are dead. There's some monster thing called the Scorn, Skornn. I kind of like that shot right there. That's kind of cool looking. Okay, big shot on the faces, and then the Scorn, the most evil thing that, if I remember correctly, that this entire Xforce run is going to be the ultimate like villain they have to face. It's just a giant lizard thing. Liefeld likes to introduce new elements. Again, to his credit, trying to introduce something new, but he can't come up with anything good. It's just a lizard thing. And then we're scared of him because they tell us we're scared of him. We're afraid of him because they tell us to be afraid of him. They say we know that he's powerful because they tell us he's powerful. We don't actually see him being powerful. So we just are supposed to be, we're told what's going on. We're not shown. So the Traveler, medieval Cable, gets a sword. Lizard thing bares its teeth, and then eyes open up, and Cable, he's like using his powers to float and meditate in the air. Those are feet. I mean, that's kind of a foot. I've said this before. I want to point it out. Everyone pisses on Liefeld for not drawing feet. I like to make sure I reiterate this to people in case you forget. Yes, he does. I'm not his biggest defender. If you know my channel and you know what I'm talking about, I'm not a defender of Liefeld in his art for the most part at all. But there was a small era where he kept drawing the little small hills to cover everyone's feet all the time. And he bailed on that really fast, and he draws feet everywhere now. It's like an intentional, like, fuck you guys. I draw feet, shut up. And I think I give him that win. He gets that victory. That's fair. But he had this horrible nightmare, and so he drops to the ground, and while Domino's there, of course. Meanwhile, while they're talking outside of whatever this building is, there's some kind of mysterious figures coming up to get them. And Cable's techno-organic virus, it starts reasserting itself and turning his robotic hand into metal claws or something like that. So he has to focus all the time to keep his mutant powers, to keep the techno-organic virus is trying to kill him in check at all times. So he has to stand there and flex his arm and show us how cool he is, which is fine. I believe it. I buy it. I like Cable. But meanwhile, mysterious ninjas. Of course. I mean, they're ninjas because they're in spandex outfits, faces covered. They could just be, I mean, they're not carrying guns or anything. Are they undead ninjas with laser blades? Maybe. I don't know. They bust through the glass, and now Cable and Domino have to fight them. I did kind of have a little bit of a chuckle where Cable just kind of like pops his little hand open at the wrist. It's like his hand like ignites like a torch, and he starts like welding ninja bodies to apart. I seem to remember that coming up like one time in some of his earliest appearances where he could shoot a laser out of his hand like that. And then they never did it again. And Liefeld's leaning back into it. It's kind of funny just to have it like pop open like that. It's kind of silly, but whatever, I mean, whatever, right? So now Cable and Domino have to fight undead ninjas. They don't have laser blades, unfortunately. They show up unarmed, just to punch. You're going after Cable and Domino, and not a single one of you fucking dumbass ninjas have a weapon. Of course, they're faceless, nameless, soulless nobodies. Domino punches the holy fucking tracing paper. Where are you? Oh, my lord. Tracing paper. Let's get it. All right. Let me get a pen. This panel up here, it's kind of okay. It's like he's trying to exaggerate her forearm coming out. It's kind of fine, but look at Gigantor, zombie Frankenstein, whatever the fuck proportion Domino here. Look at that. I remember seeing this when I was younger, when this came out. I'm like, what the fuck happened? He is not paying attention to proportions of any type. Like, come on. You've got to be kidding me. And as I like to do, we're going to trace it, and we're going to just remove all design elements and clothing and just have basically a undressed figure there, just to kind of get it down to its basics. So it just stands out, apart from color and costume and everything like that. All right, let's get it. Going to get the basic face shape right in here. And the eye, and give her a little eye patch thing. Her little nose. This is kind of a thick-tipped pit pen, so it doesn't have a fine point. So I'm not going to get the finer details in there. But that is irrelevant. Going to give her little... I liked the way that Liefeld had her hair back in original New Mutants and Xforce era. Not this little boy haircut. That's the least of the worries with this drawing right here. All right. You've got her face, right? All right. Let's get this giant She-Hulk body going on. Hell yeah. Portions of this goddamn arm. I have to make sure I hold on tight to the comic and the tracing paper so it doesn't drift off, and then I have to realign it after screwing it up. Heck yeah. All right. She has got a massive rack. No wonder Cable's into her. All right. And she's got long wrists and giant hands. Kind of hard to see where the hell the fingers are. Awesome. All right. And then she's got a fist coming out of... Where the fuck is her elbow even jointed at here? All right. There's a thumb in there somewhere. There's a fist. I'll leave out the details to indicate that she's a woman, but we understand. All right. What have we come up with here? Missing anything? Weird Liefeld anatomy. I mean, look at that. Look at that mutant girl and those long hands. I mean, I guess it's not the worst thing in the world, but I mean, good Lord. It's just kind of funny to me. Anyway, tracing paper aside. Domino and Cable beat up ninjas who show up without weapons. That's brilliant. But they, Cable doesn't have weapons. Well, yeah, he does. He's got a freaking robot arm, and he's got that stupid stick. God, they tried to, streamline Cable. I don't know who come up with that. I don't know that it was Liefeld. I kind of doubt it. But I feel like they wanted to get rid of all that extra shit. Cable was always known to be carrying pouches and shoulder pads and guns and belts and ammo and everything, just overloaded with guns. And some writer somewhere, to his credit, decided, we want to streamline the character. So they removed all that shit from him and just gave him just a single magical staff weapon of something, some type, something. And I like the idea. The concept is to strip away all his bullshit gear. Are you still interested in the character? It's like taking Iron Man and removing his suit. Do you still like Tony Stark? You better. If the only reason that you're there is because of his suit, then you're that's not a character. It's just a suit. And Cable's kind of the same thing. Personally, I don't think the fucking garden rake that he carries around makes him a badass. Super close up on Domino. Haha. That's Youngblood. This is Vogue. I might have even made that mistake more than once and not even known it. Now we're up in the mountains and kind of backgrounds. There's a Shaolin monk temple on the top of a precipice of rocks and trees, and then Shatterstar showed up. And what in the fuck is this outfit? Stop it. Where is his Buccaneer pirate outfit with the loose shirt and the cape? The white and gray. That is so much better than this bullshit. What is he wearing? But again, his rendering on the muscles, he's really trying to do something here. He hasn't quite got into the mashed potato Rorschach ab thing that he does now. He's sort of kind of making weird anatomical shapes that kind of work. Again, I feel like a really good inker with an organic style. Imagine Klaus Janson inking this. Man, that would be interesting. Has that ever happened anywhere? I don't know. I just thought of it. I was trying to think of who has a really interesting brushwork technique or, a really good organic inking style. God, I don't know. I bet that it would be such an interesting kind of artistic challenge to see somebody tackle. Hate Shatterstar's outfit. And he's going to fight some monks or something like that. So, of course, they show, at least these guys got weapons. So Shatterstar's kicking and then pivots his body around the entire other direction and kicks backward that way. Sword fight. Again, a lot of interesting anatomical rendering going on. That face right there actually looks pretty damn good. Makes me wonder if he stole it from somebody. Fighting, deflecting, throws his sword at somebody. A lot of action and movement. There's stuff going on here that Liefeld kind of excels at. Oh yeah, he threw a sword at Cable and Domino. They showed up. I actually found a very high resolution scan online of this page, and I printed it out and I inked it. I've shown it on my channel somewhere in one of my videos. It's been a while, where I've shown some of my original artwork, and I had this, And I did the best I could to try and like, how can I make this look as interesting as I can, inking over Liefeld's pencils. I've got it here in my room behind me somewhere in this mountain of artwork, but I don't know where it's at. And I wasn't going to try and go digging forever to dig it out. But yeah, I inked this page as practice, and it was kind of fun. I like the color going on, but this streamlined version of Cable, not my favorite. I get it. I get what they were trying to do. At least I assume I get what they were doing and why they were doing it. Trying to like just get rid of all that excess and just see if the character kind of works on his own. And it looks kind of fine, but I don't think that's the best version of Cable. But they showed up, and Shatterstar's like, why the hell are you here? And they're like, well, we're actually not here for you. We're here to talk to these guys for some reason. And now they're in some temple, and there's like Japanese, I'm assuming, I don't know, I guess I was presumptuous of myself to assume Japanese with like what looks like imagery from them. But I'm like, I bet you none of those images are supposed to be writing or anything. I bet you it's all just nonsensical shapes. But they're talking back and forth. Hey, there's scary things going on. Do you want to join us? Shatterstar literally says, will it involve mindless violence? And Cable says, of course. And Shatterstar says, sounds good to me. I actually appreciate that. They make Shatterstar just sound like kind of a dummy who just wants to fight, which is literally his character. He's like, he was basically born and raised and genetically created to fight. His entire existence is what that is meant to do. And he's like, is there going to be mindless violence? He's like, yep. He's like, great. All right. Let's go. Let's do it. So, all right. They've all agreed to this. And then I guess more weaponless undead ninjas show up. And now they all have to fight. So there's Cable carrying his garden rake. Shatterstar's going to jump into battle. You know, pretty dynamic shot with Cable jumping forward at us there. And again, this is the stuff Liefeld loves to do. Just shots of everyone just like flexing and screaming and punching faceless nobodies. We don't give a shit. We don't have any sense of peril or drama because these are nobodies. It's one thing if like go back to Xforce #1, not this Xforce #1, but Xforce #1, where at the beginning the team is fighting some grunt soldiers, but then they run into the Mutant Liberation Front, and there was like Reaper and Zero and Thumbelina and Wild Side. And the team actually ran into them, and you like at least they were characters that have been established that are actually somebody rather than just faceless nothings. Who cares? It's just action shots. Shatterstar's got to scream. Shatterstar's got to jump. He's got to flex and crouch over and look like he's going to shit on the floor. And he's pissed off because Monk got killed, and so he's going to flex, he's going to scream, and Ninja Guy... Shatterstar is just yapping. Shatterstar was not one for talking back in the day. But look, he's talking, and he's yapping, and yapping, and yapping, and nonstop yapping. And then everything on this next page is Shatterstar yapping. The other guy just stabbed him to death. He's just sitting there waiting for Shatterstar to shut the fuck up and get on with the fight. And so Shatterstar, carrying one double-bladed sword in one hand and one single-bladed sword in the other hand, they dive at each other, and Shatterstar chooses to kick the guy in the fucking face. Cut his head in half. Send two eyeballs sending off in just different directions, and his brain just popping out of his skull. Like, kill the motherfucker. But no, he knocks him to the ground, and there's some weird kind of perspective shot going on here in Shatterstar's long, weird body. He kicked his ass, and Shatterstar is going on and on and on. I guess he's a warrior philosopher. He needs to shut up. Cable should be like, dude, if you keep talking like this, I'm going to leave you here. And he's like, okay, I promise to shut the fuck up with my stupid little dinner fork sword thing, and let's go do this. They will see the They will see the five fingers drink deep from the well of blood. Cool. Well, I think it's a 6-issue series of the new volume 2 of Liefeld Xforce. There's something going on with Liefeld's work I have to give credit for. I feel like he's trying. He's getting in there and rendering and putting effort in a way that he'd never done before. and has never done since. I feel like there was a small era for a couple of years where he was trying to do something different. And I'm going to come back to this stuff. This is like the prime example of it, where he just doesn't draw like this. And this is kind of good. It's hard for me to say that, but I know I shit on Liefeld, and most of you kind of agree. And there's some of you who show up in the comments to tell me I should sit the fuck down and shut the fuck up. But I fully acknowledge that Mr. Liefeld has talent. He does. But he takes every opportunity to skip around anything that requires him to have to put in time and effort and focus. And he takes the easy way out every time. Or almost every time. But there's some going on here that I'm just like, this kind of is interesting. So good on him. Good job, sir. So Xforce number 1, volume 2 from whenever the fuck, 2004. Kind of interesting, fun little artifact to check out. We'll look at the rest of them. I'm not going to blast through all of these in one video because Liefeld content is just too precious. So that's all I've got for now on this one. Thank you for joining me. I really appreciate it. I'll see you next time.